guys, it's Chris with Rof-fi Paintball. I just wanted to follow up after the NPPL Huntington Beach tournament and give you guys a bit of an update. The biggest question is going to be where's the stats? Where's the stats? And so I wanted to just show you a couple cool stats that we collected here in the computer, and then answer that question a bit. So first, I just wanted to say I'm myself, the league, and all the Virtue staff. We've been very pleased with how the tournament turned out, especially as regarding the Rof-fi program and the chips that we put in everybody's guns. You think about the fact that we put in over 1,000 chips in all the different players' guns for that tournament, and the number of issues that we had was so minimal. On that the couple of registration days that we had, there weren't really, the lines were all very manageable. There's hardly any lines. Everybody was able to come up. We got the chips installed, all the information collected. And so there weren't very many issues. I think we had about a total of 6 issues the entire tournament. And that was there was a couple bad wiring harnesses, and then we had a couple older boards that actually there's some other issues with these older boards, but about 6 issues out of over 1,000 installations. I don't think there's any product in the history of tournament paintball or history of paintball which you could roll out in a situation like that and install it in 1,000 guns and only have about 6 or 7 or so issues. So we're very pleased with that. Any issue that we have, obviously, we're moving forward and making sure that everything's taken care of. But it was a very good installation. The refs were certainly very pleased with it, and they were able to warn players and tell them to get their guns turned down. And so it was good all around. We were very pleased with how it worked out, and we're definitely looking forward to building this as we go further. And really, now that we've got the concept and a lot of the guns, now we can start building on the stats and particularly the presentation of the stats. So some of that is what I'm going to show here. I'm going to pull up a game on the program. This is the Rof-fi program. It's running a MySQL database. I'm going to pull up a game from the finals, Damage and Excessive. And it's a multi-point game, so I'm just got this first point pulled up here just to kind of walk you through some of the stats. Just did a quick sort showing the players. Dave Baines on damage that first point. He fired the most, followed by Jason Edwards. Dave Baines had 1,086 shots. Jason Edwards 974. Timmy Probst 909. And then the excessive guys come up. So damage was shooting a lot more paint. Then we had Telford, top shooter for the excessive, 880. Stephen Brown 791. Patrick Slattery 711, and so on. It's a pretty cool graph actually you see here on the bottom. This graph is showing you total shots over time. The gray line is damage, the red line is excessive. So you can see both the teams are pretty even about that first minute or so. And then damage actually pulled way away in terms of shots fired. You can see total shots fired up here. Shows 4,615 shots fired by damage, and 3,308 shots fired by excessive. There's this 15-second point here that's supposed to be our breakout time. The refs that we had running this, it was actually Marty was on field 1. With the 15-second turnaround, things got a little bit hectic, and so this 15 seconds is supposed to show the first 15 seconds of the game, but actually it's not showing how much paint was shot on the breakout overall, because if you look down here at this graph in this bottom corner, I'm just explaining this if anyone's looking detailed at the video, so it makes sense for them. He started capturing right here. He started the program monitoring the shots right here, but they actually didn't start shooting until about here, if that makes sense. So that's one of the little things we're working on, making that breakout number more relevant, right? Because the field administrator, he starts capturing here, and really the game doesn't start till here. So to get that true breakout number, we got to benchmark it from this point to this point. You're going to see the breakout. But just looking at this graph, you can actually see the breakouts. Those teams are both very finely matched for the whole minute, just battling back and forth. It was right about, it was pretty about the minute mark, or 70 seconds or so. That's when damage pulled away. But just to have a little bit of fun with the stats, I didn't even see this game. I haven't gone back to see who was winning. I know overall excessive won, but I didn't see who won this first point. I'm just going to do a little Monday morning quarterbacking, doing nothing but the data. Who knows if I'm right or not? But what's interesting is if you see this last update column, that tells us when we get that last shot in. Rich Telford was the last guy in that game to fire a ball. The guy before him was Timmy Probst on damage. And then we also had a couple of excessive guys, Patrick Slattery, Stephen Brown. So it's kind of interesting. You can see, okay, well, within that last 5, 6, 10 seconds or so, there were 3 excessive shooters and 1 damage shooter. And then you actually know it looks like there were 2 damage shooters, 3 excessive shooters and 2 damage shooters. So I'm gonna guess that excessive pulled it out because you had Dave Baines was shooting his gun, but he actually pulled out. He stopped shooting at right here at this 13-second mark, 13 seconds. And then we have Stephen Brown also stopped shooting there, but Patrick Slattery, Timmy Props, and Rich Telford continued shooting. And then Rich Telford was the last actually overall shooter. So to me, that's telling me that it came down to basically a 3-on-2, and Dave Baines fell, and then followed by Timmy Props, and Rich Telford was the last one shooting his gun. So just even looking at this data, I'm just going to guess that excessive on that first point, even though Damage was shooting a lot more paint overall. Excessive actually ended up just pulling it out for some sneaky paintball shooting, I guess. Again, I'll have to go back and actually check and see what happened to the scores, but that's what I'm looking at here. The teams could maybe match it up a little better with their own experiences. I'll pull another game up here. Let's just go, a different point. Here's one. I'll sort it by shots fired so we can just see who shot the most paint this time. Dave Baines again is the big shooter. It's 5:34. This point didn't run as long. This point was just a little over a minute long. And Jason Bornstein shot 4:54. Corey Bornstein 383. Patrick Slattery 340. Riley Sullivan 316. Thomas Taylor 300. So you can actually see the excessive guys were all the top shooters with the exception of Dave Baines. So it looks like excessive was pretty well dominating this one. Damage shot about 1,000 rounds, 1,088. Excessive shot 2,270. So the first point we looked at, Damage was dominating the shots fired, and I guessed that Damage actually ended up losing that point based on how it played out at the end of the data. Not sure if it bears out in actual experience. But then in this one, it looks like you had excessive 2,278 shots, Damage 1,000. Anyway, I'm just showing you this graph, and there's a ton more stats that are listed here. We pull a shooting percentage. Here's the shooting percentage. This is going to tell you, and actually we have a game activity percentage as well. These two different percentages, they basically tell you the amount of time that the player was shooting versus not shooting in that point. And so for a back guy, obviously the higher the percentage, the much better he's going to be as a player. And so Dave Baines, you expect him to be way up there, Dave. He's at 67.8%. Jason Bornstein's right there. Interesting, Thomas Taylor, he's got a pretty high percentage as well. He didn't actually shoot a high volume of paint, 300 rounds, but it just, maybe he wasn't shooting a high DPS overall. But that just means that, that he was actually on his gun quite a bit, especially for a front player there. So, the mid or front, whatever Thomas is playing. But, that's actually pretty good looking percentages right there, 60, 70%. That's basically, some of the stats that we collect in the program. There's a lot more we're adding in. We've talked about the concept of assists. We can actually calculate, when players die or when they drop out of the game early on, and assigning points and credits based on players that last longer than other players. That can all be built in after the fact. The big question I'm sure everyone's asking right now is, well, when am I going to see my team stats? I want to go through and I want to see, for all these other teams in this list, I want to see all my stats. The long answer is, I'll give you the short answer. The short answer is it's taking a little bit of time. The long answer is we had 3 fields running. We had 1,000 chips on the field, and we had a lot of registrations that we were catching up with. So basically, there's a lot of data to enter. And this is just data from just one day. One day, basically, is what this data is. And actually, it looks like it's 2 days on field 1. But we have to go through and combine the different databases for each field. There's a lot of work involved. So we're trying to get these stats out to you as soon as possible. What I think we're going to do is, at the very least, we're just going to pull like some totals. So we can just give each player total shots that we collected. But as we go along, we'll be able to start, doing a little bit more and more work on it and giving you game by game data, just like you see here, and you can start pulling up some stuff overall game by game. I just wanted to give you guys an update and put it out there. I thought I'd do this little video. Maybe it helps for you to see some of the stuff we're collecting, and we're really excited about where this technology is going. I know the league's very excited as well, and there's a lot of things we're going to be building into it. It's going to make tournament paintball into a real sport. We're excited at Virtue Paintball. So thanks, guys.